I'd like to call for approval of the minutes.
Actually, sorry, Commissioner. What I'd like to do is move the minutes to January. Approval of the minutes. We are working with this new eScribe system, and the minutes aren't complete, so I'd like to recommend that we go ahead and move those to later so that we can get updated correctly.
So we're not going to approve the minutes.
Correct. Those are going to be removed from the agenda.
Okay. We're going to right into public comment. Mr. Posada, has anything to say?
There are no hands raised, no public comment.
Okay, presentations. Do we have Fessler Junior High School here today?
Commissioner Molina, we're going to move that staff presentation to a staff presentation in January or February. They are also unable to make it.
Presentation of the 2023 Citywide Park Assessment.
Thank you. We have Matt Wilkins here from Wallace Group. They're the consulting group in partnership with DTA that pulled together the parks assessment to review all of our current operations cost and maintenance and repair costs, as well as capitalized costs. So they're going to do a presentation for you today, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Wilkins.
On. Oh, there you go. Well, thank you for the time today. I'm here to present on the needs assessment that the Wallace Group did in conjunction with DTA. The needs assessment was a project that we started about 2 years ago, or a year and a half, really, to launch in and take a look at all of the parks within the city. And a big part of it was really to get into all of the different conditions of the various amenities throughout the park system. We did that in conjunction with Alex and the Rec and Park department. And it was really led in a manner to understand where the conditions are of the various amenities within the parks, so that we can apply a little bit deeper financial analysis and then come up with some recommendations as to the different assessment districts and how we can combine those. So we do have a presentation which we're working to pull up here, but I do want to just share some of the components that are in the draft report that we have. One of those is actually looking at the various assessment data that we are currently compiling and doing more financial analysis on. That is a second component of it, where we did take various ratings of the various assets within each park. So take, for instance, a playground. So we would look at the playground and we applied a scale from 1 to 5 of that element. And with that, there was kind of an understanding that rating number 5 meant that amenity was in dire need, or some need there of repair and replacement. And then 4 was a kind of a second to that, where we also assessed that those items would need to be repaired or replaced within the next few years. So those 4s and 5s were categorized as such in an area where we had a little bit more financial assessment in that replacement cost of how much that would cost across the city for all of the 5s and all of the 4s. Whereas 1s through 3s were really looked at as operation and maintenance type of items there that would need to be replaced over time, and really from more of a staff and maintenance element there. Thank you. I don't know, did you get a copy of? Okay, great. So going through, so the field assessment I touched on, again, it was really done in conjunction with all the different disciplines that were a part of our team. We have civil engineering as well as landscape architecture in-house, so we were able to cover those items. We did bring in an architect as well as a electrical engineer to assess the various items that fall within their professional knowledge. And then again, each amenity was assessed and evaluated and looked at for the condition of which it is. The rating scale that I touched on, I can get into a little bit more depth. That is page 3 of the report there, the presentation rather. And again, we did have a rating scale on there that we scored all of the different amenities, and that helped to facilitate later studies. Again, number 5, immediate repair, as I touched on, those are items that needed to be replaced almost immediately, whereas number 4 was really slated to be replaced within the next 5 years. So once we went through that analysis, we were able to compile some costs and come up with what the cost would be to replace all of the 5s and all of the 4s within the city. On the following page, there is an example of what you will see in the report, in the final report. So we do have here, at least Prescott Park, which we went through and again assessed everything within it. And then on the following page, this is just an example showing the assessment and what you would see in the various tables within the report. So in this case, again, we're showing an example of utilities, and we have the different assessments on that scale. Oh, great, we have it up there. Thank you guys for pulling that up. And I'll... Okay. Take a pause. Thank you. Gotta love technology, right? It never fails. That's why the carbon copy is always good as a backup. Okay, I will advance to where I was at in the presentation. Again, this is the example of what you'll see within the report. There's the again, the various elements that we assessed across all of the parks within the city. And that, again, gave us a baseline there to further assess cost, as well as come up with recommendations. Along with that, we did, again, come up with a capital improvement program. So this is an example showing all of the 5s, essentially, within the overall citywide park system. With that, there was, kind of a financial target or cost that we assumed based on all of the 5s and, again, all of the 4s. Now, what that gives the city is a good roadmap in terms of, what is the projected cost for the next couple years, and you can assess that based on this data here, as well as the next 5 years, next 10 years, and next 15 years based on some of the findings that we had out there. Are the screens up and running for you guys?
No signal.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
It was working?
It was working. No.
You had it for what? There it is. Every time you get close. Get closer.
Here's the magic.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, it is so
Huh? Okay.
Proceed.
Okay. And then the other part of the capital improvement program was really looking at recommendations. So we have various recommendations based on the assessments out there, and again, that gives a good roadmap to the city as to what each of these assets or amenities entails in terms of the replacement cost and the elements or recommendations to help improve that asset. Another component to the report is the operations and maintenance. We had various meetings with city staff to go over the makeup of the operations and maintenance within the city. We did do a deeper dive of the fiscal report to make sure we're understanding all of the costs assumed across the department, looking really at labor, the annual equipment cost, utility costs, and material cost. And then we also assess that based on kind of current budget and overall benchmarks nationwide to see what that gap is in terms of where the city of Santa Maria sits and where a similar city of similar size would be. And then that gives us essentially where that financial gap needs to be to meet a benchmark equivalent to cities across the U.S. So we also started to look into some of the financial data as it related to the assessment districts. The subconsultant on the team, DTA, is doing a deeper dive on that. And we started to look at the different maintenance districts that are within the city, including the Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, and Southwest. This here is a table just showing the different costs that are associated with those districts today. And of course, part of the effort is looking at consolidating that into a citywide district, and that is forthcoming. We're working with the city and getting into a little bit more of the numbers and understanding what a cost may be if you were to spread that to all the residents within the city. Let's skip over that slide. This one here is really showing what that distribution may look like. This is, again, looking at the various land uses and how that cost would be shared if it were global across the city. Currently, what we're looking at is essentially for all the single-family residential, that it would be roughly 42% of the total costs for the city. Multifamily residential about 19.4, commercial retail 33.5, and industrial about 4.7. That is a little nebulous, but to kind of give an example of that, so if you had $100 at your, that's your cost, essentially $42 of that would be going to single family residential, and then that would be divided up by all of the units. So you can imagine if you put a million to that or 10 million to that, it scales up essentially with that. So as we tighten up some of the numbers, we'll have more to show on that note, but we are working with the city staff to make sure that we have that number correct so that we can report back at a later time as far as what that actual cost would be. And then lastly, the city approached us to look into stormwater and basin analysis there, and our team does a lot of stormwater design work as well as basin design work. So we did dig into that a little bit more. We provided an overview of the current and foreseeable stormwater regulations that may affect the city. And then we analyzed that, looked at all the different basins within the city, and then discussed the maintenance requirements and the PCRs, general construction permits, GCPs, for all of those basins throughout the city as well. So anyhow, that's kind of what you would expect in the report. It has been a lot of work, a lot of detailed work working with the city. It has been a pleasure working with Alex, Angela, and staff on this, and it is currently being refined. We're at a draft final level, so we're tightening up some things, some figures, really to get to a point where we can get this finalized and present the final document to you all. So with that, I'd turn it over to you all for questions, or Angela, if you have any additional notes there.
Questions?
Commissioner Lopez?
No questions.
Commissioner Lee?
This may be a little bit down the road, but regarding operations and maintenance, I know there's a huge debate between subbing out for jobs versus hiring in-house a couple of skilled trade mechanics, and then they can do the other duties and responsibilities that's assigned, and whether that might be a more efficient. Have you touched upon that topic yet?
Yeah, that's a great topic. We haven't quite touched on that yet. What we're looking at right now is essentially what that cost may be in terms of the overall operations and maintenance at status quo of where it's at today and how the city is operating. That is a great consideration, and this report will hopefully help facilitate those discussions moving forward. Really, we're reporting on the operations and maintenance as it stands today.
Thank you.
Mr. Matson?
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
No further questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to new business. Do we have any new business out there?
We do. So our next item of business is an item of historical merit. And it's, And it's the recommendation to adopt a resolution listing the Santa Maria Drag Strip as a location of historical merit. And I'll turn it over to Dennis Smitherman to talk a little bit more about that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The item of historical merit being presented to you today is the Santa Maria Drag Strip. The committee has reviewed the merit of this project, and if we had more time today, I'd have a whole presentation and video, which will be posted on the city website here soon, to show you more about the project and the history. But in the staff report, it clearly identifies the significance of the drag strip here in Santa Maria and the history and the importance of the culture that it surrounded the drag strip for when it was in use. So the committee's reviewed the drag strip as an item of historical merit, and that was Commissioner Carey and Commissioner Batterson, and has brought it forward for approval to you. Thank you.
That's it.
Do we have a written one already made up, or?
Yeah, in the, let me get to the commission agenda report here. Yes, it should be in your packet, but we do have the whole history, video presentation, people of notable history that all raced at the drag strip, and the real cultural importance of the drag strip here in Santa Maria.
So is there, questions for you, Dennis, is there a subcommittee in mind that you're asking us to approve, or we're recruiting?
Thank you. The subcommittee of the commission is the historical items of historical merit, and they also oversee the Public Art Committee. So both of those commissioners have reviewed, along with community members, including those from the Natural History Museum and the general public, to review these items as they're presented and they come up, and really determine if they are an item of historical merit to be placed on that list. The next step would be then to, if approved, would then to be work with the airport district to put a plaque of some sort there and advertise that as an item of historical merit, so the community knows that has been added to the list and can learn more about that place and the importance of it for the future, and also just to be noted on the city website and get it out there.
So does one of us have to make an action item?
Yeah, so the action is the resolution for you to approve the subcommittee's recommendation listing the drag strip as an item of historical merit.
Any questions, Commissioner Lee?
Go ahead and approve.
Make a motion?
Well, you can approve it.
Make a motion.
Apologies. Before we move on, I just want to make a note that we don't have any public commenters, so we can close public comment if you like.
Do we have any public comment on it?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the Landmark Subcommittee's request to designate the Santa Maria Drag Strip as a location of historical merit.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll abstain.
So can we take a roll call vote?
Okay.
Commissioner Lee abstain. Go ahead.
Commissioner Carey is absent today. Commissioner Batterson?
Aye.
Commissioner Molina?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Abstain.
Abstain? Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Motion is passed. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is a resolution for public arts. So this is for the city, and I don't know why it says the council, it needs to say commission. Again, our e-scribe is, we're working on it. We'll consider approving the recommendation of the Public Art Subcommittee. The recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the proposal from the Public Art Subcommittee to paint 15 utility boxes along Broadway Street. And Mr. Smitherman will present.
Thank you. Thank you again, Commissioners. The Public Art Committee has also approved the addition of 15 new utility box paintings. They've reviewed the artwork of 11 artists. Obviously, some of the artists will be painting 2 boxes, but after review, there was over 30 submissions. 11 artists were picked. We're at the step now where, if approved through the commission, it would go through Caltrans, showing that the commission has approved it. Since these boxes are up and down Broadway, starting at the Broadway off-ramp, all the way to New Love, it is required that we have Caltrans permission and easement permit. It's also their boxes, so we would take not ownership but responsibility of making sure that we maintain the paintings on the boxes for the life of those boxes. Those boxes are switched out every 10 to 15 years, and as many of you know, that the first set of utility boxes that were painted were about 7 years ago, and the colors and detail are still vibrant to this day. They have had a lasting impact on the community, and we continue to hear positive feedback regarding the artwork and how well they've held up and really represent Santa Maria. So Commissioner Batterson was part of that committee, and so was Commissioner Carey. And then we also had 4 other committee members review this art. They were members of the public, as well as from the Santa Barbara County Office of Arts and Culture, and the E&M Hassett Art Foundation were part of that group as well. We do receive funding through the Downtown Tourism District, so we had a representative on there from that district as well. And then 1 member at large who really reviewed all of the artwork to really make sure that they were picking art that represented the community. If the commission approves it, we'll move forward with adding these 15 new boxes. Timing is a little off as we're about to enter the rainy season. We will work with the artists to see what we can do before the end of the calendar year, but it may need to wait till spring depending on the weather. The funding for this project was completely by private donation and our partnership with the Downtown Tourism District, which provided $10,000 for the project, and the rest was all in private donation through, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of them, like BMLA, Tri-W Enterprise, and our local McMogul Incorporated, our local McDonald's owner, actually sponsored 2 boxes. Play Inc., the Santa Maria Arts Council, and then of course the Downtown Tourism Marketing District. So would like to say thank you to them for their continued support for these art projects. As you know, these are really great pieces to look at when you're sitting at a stoplight. Don't let it distract you too long, but again, a lot of great comments. So the proposal to the commission is to approve the recommendation of the Public Art Committee, which is a subcommittee of the Recreation and Parks Commission.
You're wrong that.
Yeah.
Any question, Ms. Lopez? Commissioner Lee?
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal to paint the new paintings on the boxes.
I'll second.
And really quickly, can we just ask if there's any public comment.
Do we have a public comment on this?
Thank you. No, seeing none, thank you.
Commissioner Lee, he made a motion, he jumps.
So Commissioner Lee with a motion and a second by Commissioner Batterson. Can we take a roll call vote?
Yeah, I would just like to make a comment real quick that,
Sure.
you know, when we have stuff that comes up like this, it'd be nice to see examples of what, you know, because I know Commissioner Batterly, Commissioner Carey has actually seen it, but we're kind of just depending on other stuff and your words and stuff. So next time, supply us an example of some artwork or something.
I can pull it up right now for you if you're interested.
Well, it'll be nice, but, you know, we got a motion.
Would you like to take a moment to review some of the artwork? We can
No,
do that.
I'm just saying next time it would have been nice to look at it as we were talking about it. you know?
Okay. I will make a note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Carey is absent today. Commissioner Batterson,
Aye.
Commissioner Molina,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
and that's passing. Thank you. I apologize for the technology. Our next item on the agenda is the Urban Forest Management Plan. This is bringing back the resolution that we talked about previously regarding the adoption of the Urban Forest Management Plan. It's the same resolution that you've seen prior and that we talked about at your previous workshop. So currently, the recommendation is the adoption of the Urban Forest Management Plan as presented by the city's Recreation and Parks Department in collaboration with the consultant Dudek, and to direct staff to forward to the City Council for approval.
Commissioner Lopez?
No comments.
No comments. Commissioner Lee, you were absent that last, were you able to look at that?
No. Oh, staying.
Commissioner Batters?
I'm ready to go forward.
Any public comments?
I see no public commenters. Thank you. No, I know, but it's process. Motion?
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Urban Forest Management Plan.
All in favor?
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. And by a roll call vote, Commissioner Carey is absent. Commissioner Batterson,
Aye.
Commissioner Molina,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
and Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Okay, the matter is passed. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And so I just want to touch on a point of order so that we can go back to, before we begin director and management staff topics, I want to go back to the citywide parks assessment. There was a recommendation that city staff made to move that forward to council, and we didn't take a vote on that. And then the other item, again, really quickly, is to open it up to public comment, if there are any, because this is a big topic and it's new business. So would you like to reopen that item?
Yes. So we need to have a public comment on the Santa Maria Needs Assessment?
Okay, so perhaps after talking with City Manager Posada, maybe we bring this back for another discussion with some firmer numbers from DTA so that we can talk about your recommendation to move it forward to City Council, so we can move this on to the perhaps January meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
And I don't see any public comment for the record. So we need a motion to move it to at least the January meeting.
I will motion
Motion?
Make a motion.
to move it to the January meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Carey is absent. Commissioner Batterson?
Aye.
Commissioner Molina?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You know, you made a little bit of changes on us up here, but usually, you know, so we got all of us a little bit confused.
I'm keeping you on your toes today.
So usually, okay, we're good. Thank you. We know
Okay.
now, huh?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so getting back to the ordinary agenda, we have a couple of items that we're going to turn over to our managers for reporting, but as we discussed earlier, we have another item towards the end, and so we'll kind of keep it brief, but if you do have additional questions, we'll open it up to you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Smita.
Good evening, Commissioners. Very, very briefly, 2 points that I'd like to share with the group. First is that we are right in the beginning stages of preparing our 2-year budget for the next budget cycle, 2-year budget cycle, and there's a lot to cover. And we anticipate that this will be an ongoing project for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months as we look at what our needs are in terms of capital, maintenance, equipment, programming, staffing, and so that's what we're going to be working on over the next several months. And then just a recap of where we are with our budget between general fund and Measure U. We're at 23% by the end of October, so at 33% of the year, we're at 23%. That's mostly attributed to salary savings. We have a lot of vacancies in key positions that have resulted in that difference at a third of the year. But as we continue to work on filling vacancies and hiring and recruiting and trying to find those quality workers, I anticipate that we will catch up hopefully soon. Anyone have any questions related to budget or personnel? Commissioner Lee?
In relation to fees and charges and the department having to budgetary savings, I know we had a conversation one time where that money, whether that money be somehow kept in the department if it's possible so that it inspires the department to do better, or it goes back to the city. So was there any development from
Yeah.
that conversation?
Yeah, and so that topic and other topics related to budget and some ideas and suggestions that the management team has, we are actively sharing with the finance department, and it's a fairly new finance department management team, and they're coming from other agencies, and they have ideas as well. And so, yeah, that is it's a very active topic because it is important that we're able to see the revenue that we're generating get put back into our programs and our parks and our facilities.
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Commissioner Lopez?
No questions.
No questions. Moving on right to Recreation Division Board, Dennis Smitherman, Programs.
Thank you. Just a quick update. We had some issues with the pool this past month, but are back up and running to full power and full heat. So that's been about a week and a half challenge that the staff did really well. We got people in right away to take care of that problem. But the pool is back up and running if you hear any concerns. We did open the the rec pool for lap swim. It's not the lap swimmer's favorite. Because it's very small compared to the 50-meter, but we had a few people take the offer, but we are back and really full for lap swim right now, especially when the weather's been so nice. Upcoming events, we have 2 events to look forward to. We have Light Sites Holiday Nights, and it looks like Commissioner Carey, Commissioner Lopez, and Commissioner Batterson are on the judging committee. The judging is November 28th. And meeting at the U Center at 4:30 for some hot cocoa, of course. And then they're gonna load up in the vans and leave at 5 and will return by 9 p.m. Stephanie is here in the audience. She's the one leading that up, so if there's any questions, either her or I can answer those for you. And then we have the tree lighting ceremony on December 1st at 4:30 p.m., which is a Friday. We'll start at 4:30. We usually wait till around 5:15 to actually flip the switch. We have our group from the Elks Recreation Golden Circle will be joining us for the 3rd year in a row. We'll also have festivities. We have a new Santa this year. His name is Fit Santa. So that'll be interesting. We will have Coastal Voices there as well. Our friends from Los Flores Ranch, the Big Horse and the Little Horse, and a lot more stuff going on. So if you could please join us, that would be great. And then also, sorry about the delayed distribution of the noteworthy items. As you can tell, we are down an administrative assistant. Brittany has started her new job, and we wish her the best. And she's doing great. I actually talked to her. But it poses an extra challenge on us, so bear with us as you just got these today. They are in your packet, but there's the noteworthies there for you. A lot going on still through December. We have the tiniest bit of a slowdown, and I do mean tiniest bit, for January, February, and then we'll be doing most of our planning, most of our budgeting, getting ready for the next spring, and really hit the ground running in spring as well. So, and that starts in March with swim lessons and all the other aquatic activities. Thank you.
I have a comment. Speaking of, this is a budgetary issue. Speaking of Brittany, I know there's been some turnover and a lack of ability to retain good employees. Has there been any discussion about her, not her, but the job classification and?
Yeah, it's been nonstop conversation about just that. We've worked really hard, Neville, especially working on these recruitments, really looking at alternative ways to recruit and retain through merging positions to create more full-time positions, looking at other options that we may have available outside of the financial aspect. That's where we can get stuck sometimes. You know, it's not just here at our Rec and Parks agency. I would guess it's fair to say it's citywide, if not nationwide. We're going to be combating new issues coming up in April of 2024 with fast food restaurants paying $20 an hour. You know, there's lots of challenges ahead of us, but we're constantly looking forward to how we can come up with new solutions to these issues, and it's an ongoing conversation.
One suggestion I might make is, I'm sure there are many young people in the community who may have an interest in going into the field of recreation, and therefore perhaps having interns helping the office manager, and then maybe a natural transition in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Yes, we do work with interns as they show interest in working with Allen Hancock College, Cal Poly, and Santa Barbara. We do get calls for internships, and we do make them available as much as possible. We need the help, and they need the hours. So it is definitely an option that we look at. And we've really scrutinized how we're advertising our positions and really getting the word out there as much as possible. There are as many venues as possible. It's just a tough market right now.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lopez?
No comments.
Well, touching on Commissioner Lee, I just say, you know, within all the green shirts that we have, the young kids, they're high school grads and stuff, they're setting up tables and stuff. Maybe we could start moving those into some positions that they can get trained on, and they can help out, and that make it available for our youth that are already hired by the city.
Thank you, Commissioner Molina. Yes, it was Alex's brainchild last year to create a position called the Rec Activity Specialist. It moves them from a limited service position to a 32-hour-a-week position, which is it's a middle position between our entry-level recreation leader and our program specialist position. So this Rec Activity Specialist position allows people to explore one program area and really learn what programming is all about, or I'm being biased right now because of recreation, right? But it could also work in parks or facilities just as easy. But for recreation, they're learning about a specific program area, learning how to program. It's not just throwing a program out there and crossing your fingers. There's a lot of work beforehand. So definitely looking at those kind of options and expanding our position base to make sure that we can get the community's needs met while still staying within our constraints.
Thank you. Yeah, because I've noticed in the last 2 years I've been here, a lot of these things have gone to people with just high school education. They've been here 25, 30 years for the city of Santa Maria. So we can move those kids in and, you know, help us out a little bit there.
I have a question. Sorry, I just thought of something. Maybe it's for Alex. I know the city's hiring, sorry, you're here. They're hiring a talent management person or division. I don't know if you should know this, right? Will this person be helping all departments, or is it specifically, I don't know, for the city needs? Or, I mean, I would assume.
There we go. Yes, so we are right now in the recruitment phases for our Human Resources Office, which includes employee recruitment and relations, and then also in our labor negotiation side. So those positions are the ones I think that Neville kind of mentioned in his presentation, that we're really trying to look for quality candidates, reaching out there, and he's been negotiating is the word I'm going to use with Human Resources as far as all of our positions go and where they fall in the pay scale and the recruitment scale. So we are working with them on that.
Thank you.
If I could, Commissioner Malena, just
Yes.
just real quickly, because I don't know if I'll get the opportunity next to introduce Sarah Landsberg. Sarah is the new Senior Chief Deputy City Clerk is the official title. And so I wanted to thank her for helping us out on the tech side of things. But Sarah's here. We're really happy to have her. She comes with experience from City of Rio Grande. So we're happy to have her join the team. And she came in to listen about the assessment, because that's something else that we're going to be working on. Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Lee.
I have a seed to plant. You know, so often we have people to come through the department that we want to recognize. And I know of a certain gentleman that's getting to the age of retirement, and perhaps in the future we can start this kind of couples with the place board, where we can maybe generate a development fund to create a scholarship every year to help us, you know, a young person in the community who may not need a salary yet, but sure would be nice to have a scholarship to help them each year, and then work with the department director or whomever they could be assigned to, and that could help ease a lot of the areas of employment as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Yeah, we'll make a note of that and present it to play at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Operations Division report. Mr. Casey Stone.
Thank you, Commissioner Malena. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the list of capital projects, but if there are questions, I know we have those updates. I did want to comment on a couple of things here. So obviously one of the big ones as you drive around the city would likely be the Adam and Crossroad Basin lighting project. So Public Works is going strong on that. PG&E is out there this week working on pulling some wires. So in speaking with Public Works this week, we're anticipating still electricity in January sometime. So that'll be coming online rather quickly, which will give us some additional capacity that we greatly need. Another project that we're working on is compost. So we are taking delivery of our compost procurement requirements for the rest of this calendar year right now. The equipment, I think I mentioned before, has been ordered. We're expecting to get that in sometime in January, February. That's that specialty equipment that's really going to help place it in appropriate, levels around the turf so that we don't overdo it on the turf. So kind of boring stuff, but important to us because it really takes a lot of labor if we do that manually. So we're very excited to get that equipment in. The tobacco retail sales program, I'm happy to report, is fully operational. I think the last time we got together, we were just sort of getting off the ground. Very busy right now. So we've notified everybody that's selling tobacco within city limits of the municipal code requirements, educated them on how to get their licensing in addition to the state. So the applications are starting to come in. We've got an entire process where we go through and check that they're in compliance, in addition to doing site inspections and then issuing the actual licenses. So I think last time I spoke to Ruben with the Rangers, we were at about 20%, so making great progress there. Parks recently participated with one of the teams from Rec, and we did some spruce up over at the Town Center East parking structures. So getting ready for the holiday shopping season, a lot of trimming work and just sort of general maintenance upgrades over there. We're going to reopen levels 3 on both structures. So I don't know if you've noticed the fencing over there, because we had a lot of people doing things with their cars that were inappropriate. So some fencing went up, but that's coming down so that we've got the additional capacity for the upcoming parade and just the shopping season. In the process of finalizing the City Hall landscape renovation plan, so that'll be coming soon to a theater near you. A lot of work has gone into that, and I think we're hoping to kick off sometime in the early spring there. Another thing that we're working on is the park operations move. So we're in a couple different buildings right now, and we're in the process of consolidating to a new location near the current park operations, which is near the fuel pumps. But we've got not only to get the building ready with Public Works, but also figure out who's going where, make sure we've got the furniture. So hoping to have that done within the next 30 days if we can. We're running out of time there, but hoping to complete that soon. You've probably noticed the holiday decorations going up, so that's very close to being done, getting ready for the tree lighting and of course the parade to follow. And then as Mr. Smita alluded to, budget prep. So having a lot of meetings, really looking at our current needs, but also what's coming up in the future for the next 2 years. What parks are going to be coming online soon, and what additional labor, equipment needs we may have. So really trying to put together a thorough assessment, and really relying much on the assessment that was presented today to have a good snapshot around the city of what the needs are, both current and future. So that's a basic overview of what we've had going on the last 2 months. Happy to entertain questions if you have any, and if not, I will pass. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious if there's been any more development on the exploration for solar, in particular with the field being lighted to capture solar energy, not just for those fields, but in the entire city.
That's a great question. I don't have the specifics on that, other than to say that I know our Director of Public Works is doing a lot of research on that. In particular, oh yes.
Yeah,
You have
thank
something
you.
to supplement.
So I'll comment on that really quickly. There was an item that went to council last week that talked about solar and an opportunity to be able to work with a local provider on that. The city council did pass that, so Public Works will be working with a number of the departments, including recreation and park facilities, to provide some solar. I'm not quite sure what that looks like yet. It's a preliminary conversation. But as we know more, we'll bring that back to you for conversation.
Good, we're making progress.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lopez?
No questions.
No questions.
The reason I say thank you, Commissioner Lee, because he's been working on that for the last 2 years, solar. So somehow it got to City Council now and moving forward. Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Say. Mr. Stone, that's it?
I have nothing further unless you have questions.
Okay, I don't have no questions. One thing I just like to say is the lights that are going on at the basin. We've seen a lot of cars that are parked on the other side of the basin now. They're outside of on the other side. It's all filled with cars. Did you see that?
Are you speaking of Adam Basin or Crossroads?
Crossroads.
Okay, and you're saying that they're actually down inside the basin?
Yes.
Okay.
So currently, there are a number of construction contractors who are going in and out of the year to do the work. They've got some staging of materials down there, but that site generally is being managed. So if you are seeing some that shouldn't be down in there, if you can let us know, and we'll talk with our public works staff about it.
No, I don't know. I just went out, there was maybe a couple, 50, 60 cars that were parked on the other side of on the bottom, lower part of the basin. That one was open. The gate was open.
For overflow parking area.
That's our parking area now?
Near
Okay,
the
so it did
sediment,
open
I
it
think
up.
he's referring to.
Okay, go ahead.
So yes, now that I know, okay, so the north side of that basin, that's correct, that would be the overflow side. So you will occasionally see some parking over there when they're playing soccer. That's also where one of the sediment piles is that came from the storms we had last winter. We're in the process of making arrangements ahead of this winter to relocate that stuff too, but that will be the location where when that front parking area is, where the construction work is now being staged. That's where they're supposed to park.
Yeah, and the word you just said right now was soccer. Now, is that only available for soccer teams, or can youth football use it, rugby, flag football? Is that available for all?
It's open to everybody. I don't know what the reservations show right now, so subject to reservation, but certainly it's available use.
So youth football can reserve that for Thursday night?
Subject to availability. I don't know what the
Yes.
reservations, but yes, the active system would.
So first come, first serve.
determine that.
So basically, it's not a soccer field,
Yeah, my understanding is it's available for use. It's just, I don't know what the bookings show and how far out they may already be reserved. But yeah, to the extent not reserved, it should be available.
All right, thank you. Director's report. Ms. Angela?
Thank you, Commissioner Molina. So really quickly, we have updated technology. I had hoped to share this a little bit earlier, and it was supposed to be a little bit more seamless. So we're working the bugs out. We'll have a much better ability to have a presentation and something a bit more cohesive as we come up. So this is the first run on this type of equipment for us. The other things that I wanted to share really quickly, I think most people are aware, Mr. Posada is now the interim city manager, so it's a very exciting opportunity. Mr. Chun Wu is the interim assistant city manager. He's the community development director, so he's taking a role in helping participate in the transition as we search for a new city manager. I'm the interim director of Recreation and Parks for the moment, and we're working on an interim assistant director to fill in that opportunity. So we're looking at our internal staff and other possible solutions. And again, as you talked about, our administrative assistant, how can we bring in some of our internal candidates and use this as an opportunity to develop them as we're shifting around and moving through this time. Regarding the organizational structure, we're undergoing an organizational assessment. We talked about that over the last couple of months. That'll be coming to a close here in December, so we hope to bring you a snapshot of what the results look like and how that might fit into the budget and the planning for the coming budget cycle, 2-year biennium. But we won't have a clear idea of what that looks like until we get closer to their final report. But it's looking like it's not a surprise that we need to make some adjustments. Regarding our project updates, we have a number of projects that are currently in construction. Phase 2 of the Smith Enos House and Japanese Community Center is going to be going to council for award on December 5th, so that'll start the next phase of getting that site and seeing the building get built. Very exciting time. The Veterans Memorial Plaza project is complete, and we're getting ready to award the second part of that contract, so renovation of the park here over the next couple of months. We hope to have that construction beginning in January or February. Battles Road is back to the designers, and they're working on the 95% design. This is the beautification project with the grant funding that we received to be able to do some landscaping work and provide some more opportunities. Let's see, the sports complex at Blosser Ranch. That's currently under design. In fact, Matt's also working on that. It's coming right along. We have some really great design schemes that we're excited to be showing you as they start to pull that design together and get it towards completion. We also received the final map, and so now city staff is working on the final documents for the title. So also very exciting, a lot of progress. And then the DeJoy Pocket Park construction bids close on December 5th, so we hope to have construction going here in the winter. So winter will be a very active time for all of us as we begin working on capital projects. And with that, the rest of the staff updated you on the remainder of my items, so I'll open it up to you for questions.
Commissioner Lopez?
No questions.
Commissioner Lee?
Just want to make an announcement that I think this is going to be my last meeting. I'm going up to Stanford in December, and it's going to be overlapping.
I think we want to wait for that right now. Well, we'll do that at the end.
Okay.
Any questions for
No.
Commissioner? I just told the Commissioner Lee we'll do that a little bit. CMS complex, that get a 5 on our needs assessment?
Oh, sure. What's your?
CMS, the CMS Park, are we going to be working on that? Are we still working on that?
Yes, there is an opportunity to work on that. We're talking about how we get that designed and next steps in getting that moving forward. I know that's been a community question. It's currently temporarily closed until we can finalize an ADA approach, be able to make that fully accessible to people, and then we'll be able to get some construction funds identified, get the construction started, and then get it reopened for community.
Thank you. That's it? No other questions?
I have one comment.
Yes.
Since we have the needs assessment person here, for a while I've been making the comment that even though we do have representation working with your company on needs assessment and we're interviewing the public, I've long been an advocate to come up with, for lack of a better term, a long-range development plan to specifically identify state-of-the-art recreation needs. And I've asked to make sure that the department staff knows that they're the experts, even though we're going out into the public and asking the public, what do you think? Because the layperson doesn't know what the state-of-the-art functions and programs and needs, facilities are. So I'm just wondering if there's a development in that respect.
Commissioner Lee, I think I can answer that question for you. So currently we have the leisure needs assessment project that was advertised. We did receive 2 respondents. We're currently looking at how we can move forward with it. And then what we'll do is take the next step and we'll reach out to community members, and we'll also reach out to staff and other professionals and get their information and thought process on how we could create an organizational and leisure needs and arts plan, right, master plan as we move forward, and then also how that might fit into a couple of the other assessments that we're working on, including our org assessment, our parks assessment, our master plan for the urban forests, and I'm missing one. Public Works has an evaluation of buildings for capital projects, which include recreation and parks facilities. So it'll be one of the many steps in the comprehensive package, so we can start talking about prioritizing maybe a little bit differently than we've done in the past.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We're going to move into the commissioners' items. And first on, I would like to introduce Mr. Paul Lee. I think he has an announcement that he'd like to make to us all.
Oh, just a very quick announcement that this will be my last meeting, a meeting with Supervisor Gloria Soto tomorrow morning, and my recommendation for the new person to take my place, his name is Jeremy Moreno. He's been a civic leader in the community. I'm sure he'll do a really good job.
That's it.
Thank you.
At this moment, I'd like to thank Mr. Lee. I've been here 2 years, going on 2 years now, and I've learned a lot from Mr. Lee, and I wish I would learn more. I wish he'd stay longer, you know. This is a lot I need to learn. I think he could help me. I've seen him on both sides. I was on that side with him, and I've been on this side with him. To me, when he talked about having a scholarship, I think, you know, there's one man right here that should have a scholarship, the Paul Lee Scholarship. You know, that's one person in my eyes that I see. You've been a real asset to our community, and we thank you very much with the bottom of our heart for all you have done for the city of Santa Maria and the youth of our community. And here we present with you in recognition. Well, I'm going to let Steph read it. This is the better reader. She's
Right.
right.
Okay, presented to Paul Lee in recognition of your dedicated service as a Recreation and Parks Commissioner for the City of Santa Maria. We extend our heartfelt gratitude. Your understanding contributions to both the community and the Recreation and Parks Commission have made a lasting and positive impact. Thank you for your exceptional commitment and valuable contributions. And it's signed by our leader here and dated November 14.
Can we get the rest of the commissioners to sign it?
Yeah. Could we
You
get
want
it?
us?
Yes. Thank you so much.
You have to come back and get Rebecca's.
Commissioner Lopez?
I would like to take a picture. I'm ready. Let me take a picture first. Hold it, Paul. Hold your certificate.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll leave my chair. I'll pretend.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee, any final words?
I just want to thank the City of Santa Maria, the staff for the City Recreation Department for giving me this opportunity. I think I've shared with some of you that I'm a first-generation immigrant. Came to this country when I was 5, and what's kept me off of the streets as a gang member or doing destructive activities is recreation. And for all my life, I've always felt like there's just not enough opportunities for the average child. As an example, growing up in sports, I always thought I was a good athlete, but for one reason or another, I would not be able to make that one of 15 individuals on the basketball team. Or, you know, you can only have so many on a team, and the rest of the school's kids don't get to play. So for that reason, I made it a goal of mine to go into the profession of recreation, and I call that the power of play. The power of play is teaching a child through play, whether it be sports, music, the arts, the ability to make intelligent and ethical decisions, and to realize that in order for me to become successful and happy in life, it has to start from within. And then through play, you think about all the life skills that are learned. As an example, competitive achievement, to never stop trying to become better. Teamwork, leadership, communication. I learned to speak English. And I have to share with you, I'm a little bit embarrassed, but the truth of the matter is that most of my vocabulary, English skills, were not learned until I got to UC Santa Barbara in my position, and I learned on the job. I remember going to a colleague's spouse who had passed away, and people came up to the individual and said, "My condolences." I had no idea what that word meant. You don't use the word condolence in your everyday language for a child. And I remember the word procrastinate. Someone said, procrastinate. All of a sudden, that was a new word. So there's so many life skills that we can learn and teach through the power of play. So I commend all of you for being a part of the power of play. and I see a bright future for Santa Maria. Thank you.
Commissioner Battersby?
Are you
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
reports?
your comments.
Oh, okay. Well, the 3 recommendations that we made today, those were all items that I've been working on in this last month, that we actually made the decision to bring it to the commission and then hopefully to the council. And so that's mainly what and then I got to join Neville yesterday for a very enlightening budget meeting, and the rec department really has their work cut out for them as far as putting all the pieces together to make the job openings attractive to all, not just our community, but other communities to come here and apply for these jobs. And unfortunately, a big part of that is salary, and it's I hope you get it worked out soon, because it's not going to be easy. So that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez?
Yeah, I have a few comments. First, my fellow Commissioner Lee, fellow Gaucho, it was a pleasure sitting by your side. I've learned a lot from you in the short time that we've worked or been together, so I appreciate you and your knowledge. And of course, I'm biased because you did go to UCSB and you worked a lot in that school.
Actually, I was never a gaucho until
Until later?
they gave me the
They gave you the
honorary.
honorary title. Well, still, thank you for all you did there and for the city as
I'm a
well.
bulldog.
Oh, you're a bulldog. Okay. Well, that's even better. And my other comment is for Angela. Your leadership is taking over and bringing positive changes has not gone unnoticed. So thank you for driving or being the driving force in the department and taking them to a positive direction. So I appreciate you for that. We all do. Tree lighting, I remember, I attend every year before I became a commissioner. I want to make a comment. Every year I do attend, the mayor expresses an interest in seeing the commissioners from Recs and Parks there. I wish, this is their thing, they should all be here taking part of this celebration. So just a side note. And lastly, now that there will be a vacant position in Play Inc., I would like to be considered for that opportunity to be on Play Inc. committee. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez. I like to say, good luck, bon voyage. How do you say it? But we'll be around, huh? We'll see each other. A couple of things I just wanted to say. I forget now. I was thinking about Commissioner Lee, but being part of Parks and Rec was something that people talked me into, and everything that Commissioner Lee said, that's what I enjoy doing. I like being part of the kids. And I understand that Commissioner Battersley and Commissioner Carey and Commissioner Lopez, everybody has their own interests. They kind of know their specialty. Like, I depend on you to do your hard work on that tree stuff and all that good stuff, and I depend on you. And when you lead, when I see that, so I learn off you, and I learn off Commissioner Lopez, and I learn from our Commissioner Alex Posada's there, and Angela's. You're going to do a fine job, and the new teleprompter guy, So Parks and Rec,
Christian Parks.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be. I got done with 128 high school baseball players when our first full fall ball program. We had 7 teams playing at Elks, all local high school boys, 9th graders and 12th graders. And you should have seen the parents. This is our full non-COVID year. So we were able to have a full season with no masks and all this other stuff. And the parents were just so excited. Gangs, drugs, pregnancy, everything at this age, and reflects what happens now. So being leaders of what we can do, the community, youth football, basketball, cheerleading, everything, pickleball, whatever the seniors are doing now. Everybody's getting interest, and it all involves here. It starts here, that we send that out to city council and get stuff approved. Starts with needs and assessments that go out there and say what we really need. How to spend our money right, how to do it right, not waste our money. But I think we're getting on Angela. You got a good teacher like that, Alex. He'll send you the way, and you'll be all right. So I think you're leaving the city in good hands. You'll be all right. We're gonna miss you.
Well, keep an eye on you guys.
And that's all I gotta say, huh? So adjourn the meeting. Tuesday, December 12th, Angela, will be our next meeting? Correct.
Yes. And I'm sorry, Dennis, do you want to?
Yeah, that next meeting will be at Miami. It'll be our play and commission joint meeting. So it will be at noon, if I remember correctly. We'll have a quick meeting, and then we'll adjourn and work with play and talk about all the projects this year and maybe what's coming up in the future.
Thank you very much. We did do that bad, Angela, at 5:15.